my knees hurt. Everything hurts, babe. Hey, body beat down. What's up? My body is beat down. You know, it's funny when I'm doing these physical activities, after I get warmed up, I'm good. Like, I can go. And I'm fine for the whole time I'm going. But then afterwards, I'll sit down for a half hour and I can't walk. It's like my joints fuse together. We are this fine Saturday afternoon. I'm going to do some competition training. You guys can't see my shirt because it's backwards. My wife got that for me. And then I'm going to take Christina out to pizza. Bam, bam. Ask me how my diet is. You know what my knees sound like? You ever have a paint roller? When you roll, you dip it in the paint and roll the walls. Sourdough pizza. You know what? I don't know if I've ever had sourdough pizza. We're going to find out tonight, though. How's everybody doing? Well, how are you doing, body beatdown? I know how Christina's doing. I just talked to her. Christopher Hill. You sound like Rice Krispie treats. Yeah, that's what mine sound like. I have these, here, I'll show them to you guys. These are the wraps I compete in. These are Helix wraps. And they are half-inch thick neoprene. They're really hard to put on. They're super stiff. They're twice as stiff as the SBDs. And I don't train in them because they're such a pain in the ass to put on and off, but these will literally add 15 pounds to your squat. They're about the closest thing you can get to wearing wraps. You know, wraps are still more effective, but these are... I don't like training in them, though, because they're super uncomfortable. Like the SBDs, I can leave them on and I can walk around in them. Saltum and Rackin, what's up? Or Saddam and Rackin, hi. Okay, I'm debating doing more Tae Bo. Absolutely, hell yeah. Billy Blanks, the old Tae Bo. Is he still making workouts, or is it? If you have like older DVDs or something. He was just in Vegas not that long ago, as a matter of fact. You know what? Everything aside, whether or not it makes you good at kickboxing, it's still some of the best cardio you can do. We're going to do some dynamic box squatting. Really hammer the hell out of those quads. Elon Musk, Stephen Sullivan, mariners in his generation smoked cigarettes. Now they vape. What happened? I think he meant, are you trying to say Marines? What's up, Brian? If you're lurking and watching, please remember to like and share and subscribe. Thank you. Caleb Reasoner. I'm not that big. I'm only 220 pounds. My favorite dinosaur. I'm your favorite dinosaur, Mr. Basher. Yeah. How much do you press? Right around 400 pounds. I haven't tried to max out in a while. I hit, the other day I hit 315 for 11. That was pretty cool. Miracle Thrash. What's up? You look like Triple H. That sounds like an ointment. You know, I knew what you meant, Steven. He's small compared to my stack of cash. Definitely. I'm huge compared to mine. This is my favorite squat accessory, but to unlock true potential, you need to do is do a nice slow negative, 3 count down, and then fire off the box as fast as you can, almost like you're trying to jump through the ceiling. You obviously have to control the weight, but you want to accelerate. I'm going to clean my camera lens here. There we go. The lens glare is bugging me a little. Joshua, what's up? Thanks, brother. How much can you deadlift, and can you see it? Yeah, if you stick around, I'm going to hit deadlifts after I'm done with squats. Right now, probably about 685, 690. I did 545 for 5 a couple days ago, but I ran out of time, so I didn't go heavier. I start my competition training on the 1st of February, so I'll be doing a 6-week program to get ready for the powerlifting competition. I am a P for P king. Let's talk with me now. P for P. What is P for P? You look lean. Been fasting. Yeah, I wouldn't say I fast for dietary reasons or like for that, but yeah, I do intermittent fasting. So I'm training fasted right now. 386 fishing. Milan, Dejanovic. I'm doing all right. Sean, cool setup. Yeah, it's not fancy, but it gets the job done. Bottom or top? It depends on the money, Tyler. Josh McKelly, yeah. I doubt I'm going to max out deadlifts, but I will probably try to max out a rep range. So you can usually calculate one rep max based on that. Man, I really did not want to train today. I took yesterday off. Old school like Rocky, hell yeah. What do we got here? I missed some comments. Let me see. What you know about Russian County? I don't know anything about Russian County. Are you asking my Tyson or Muhammad Ali? I'm going to go with Mike Tyson. What's suspicious, Primordial? What's up, Dropsy? Hell yeah. Muhammad, no competition. Well, one of them's still alive, so he wins by default. About to fix some chili. Hell yeah. I love Usyk, Milan. I love his footwork. I think he's amazing. But that being said, Mike Tyson was a master of footwork too. Who's my favorite band? Ultima Rock Band. If I had to go just strictly on talent, I'd go with either Tool or Rush. If I had to go through just listening for enjoyment, I like the Pixies. Or maybe, like a punk rock band, like someone like Black Flag or the Misfits or something. Islam or Arman? Can I pass? I don't want either of them. Let's see. Well, I guess I'd have to go with Islam. Let's see. Well in for doing it, bro, even if you didn't want to. Yeah, man, you got to. I just wanted to be lazy. Usually I love working out. I love training, but lately it's been a little bit of a grind. I'm starting my competition training here too in a week. And that's going to really, really ramp up the strictness. I have to be strict. I can't miss training, and we go really hard. It's almost like a little boot camp. I wish my gym had a bar like that and a bench. Yeah, that's exactly what I got the camber bar for. It gives you an extended range of motion on the bench press and rows. But for the squats, what it does is it puts the center of gravity of the weights about 4 inches forward. So it'd be more like a high bar squat or a front squat. And that makes the lift a little more heavy on the quads. Now, what's cool about that is if you're a low bar squatter, say you compete powerlifting, it adds more difficulty to the movement. So when you switch back to the normal barbell, it feels way lighter. It's just way easier because it's more hip or more glute dominant. And with just a mild 4-inch camber, it just adds enough to the quads where you're still using mostly your glutes and hips. Just like a little hack for squatting. Let's see. Yeah, it was the same today. You jumping in cycle? Yes, really soon here, Dropsy. Yeah. Not. I haven't quite. No, I haven't. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. But play music. I'm a drummer, Bob. Not a very good one, but no, I guess I'm all right. I can keep a beat. Are you watching UFC? I haven't kept up with it lately, but yeah, usually I try to. I don't know. Lately, the UFC's been bothering me. It's really been turning into wrestling. All they do is sit there and talk shit to each other, and I know most of that's bullshit because grown men don't talk like that. And so it's like I'd rather just see the fighting. I don't need all the circus that goes along with it. Greetings from India, Soham. What's up? Do you like spicy food, and does anybody else like spicy food? I love spicy food. I don't tolerate it very well. My daughter will literally eat fire. You're not going to believe this, but I have upgraded to a 3L of Dr. Thunder. Chris, right on. What's my favorite gas station logo? The Catabolic T-Rex. I'm an old school 76, Union 76. We got Terry the Trolls got dad jokes. Justin, what's up, my brother? Running Test 400 in DECA, but I want to enter a comp and at the end of the year. I usually about 6 to 8 weeks out, I'll bump my stuff up, and I'll introduce usually like Anadrol or Anavar. I don't go crazy, but I'm a hyper responder, so I don't really need to take a whole lot. Test I'll usually I think the highest we'll go right about 250, and then about 4 weeks out from competition, I'll bump that up to 500. Khabib. Oh, absolutely, 100% Khabib. Khabib or Connor. Oh, Lord have mercy. Khabib. I don't even have to think about that. I like spicy foods. Nice. I don't like pain. I want to taste my food. Israel or Palestine. For what? Catabolic T-Rex. Union 76 is mine too. Hell yeah, man. Golf is good, yeah. John, what's up? Shout out, let's see, Dropsy. Yeah, good shout out. That's me to man. That's a nice cycle. Yeah, I just keep it simple. I'm 50 years old. I can't get crazy. I would have a heart attack and die. You just can't. You're 50 years old. You can't be doing what the younger boys are doing. Let's see, Justin. I did have one question. What's good riptide to go with TRT? What do you mean riptide? I don't understand what you mean by that. Let's see, Milan, would you say that the positives of staying natural compared to taking testosterone and the negative of both are? Well, so Milan, I was a natural until almost 46 years old. And I was one of those sanctimonious pricks that was like, oh, I don't need nothing, I'm all natural. Yeah. And I even had the national records in the USPA for, I think, what was that, 2016? I think I was 44 years old, so I was a competitive lifter. I had a 1,500 total for a natural. But then I started experiencing the symptoms of low testosterone, and one of my gym buddies suggested I get my blood work done. So I did. I still waited. I didn't want to give up my natural status, so I still waited like half a year. Then finally, after suffering from it was bad, man. I didn't want to lift anymore. I was losing motivation. My diet was going to shit. I was losing my libido. I just didn't understand. I couldn't understand why I was in such a bad funk. And I went and got my blood work done, and he said low testosterone. I said, it happens, guys your age. It's just one of those things. So I went on TRT, just doctor prescribed TRT, nothing else. And I'm telling you, within 2 weeks, I thought I was 20 years old again. In the first 6 months, I put on 8 pounds of lean muscle mass. My body started to recomposition, but then I hit a plateau, which you will. I mean, if you're just on doctor prescribed TRT, you will hit a plateau just like a natural lifter. So I've done 3 cycles for competition since then, maybe 4. What did I do, 3 or 4? But anyway, I've done above and beyond that. And I did suffer some side effects. You got to be really careful. There's high blood pressure. There's acne, the thickening of the blood. The high blood pressure is really bad for your organs. You can have cholesterol issues. There's a whole bunch of issues you can have if you're not super careful. So after messing around with that, I dialed things way back, and now I'm on what I'm on like a cruising amount. It's not TRT, but it's not like a huge amount either, if that makes sense. I'm really super careful about it. Not riptides. You took them for your shoulder. Oh, peptides. Peptides. Ah, yes, peptides are awesome. Well, it depends which peptides you're talking about, but specifically for healing injuries, we took TB 500 and BPC 157, and they're amazing. They work really well for muscle and tendon damage. Musk has a limited shelf life in the White House. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm enjoying the show, though. Are you a liberal, Prophet Fear? I'm kind of wondering. You seem to like. I'm a libertarian, so I'm anti-government. You know, I'm not one of those guys that gets ideologically possessed by anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't think that any one person is going to save the country. I think that we all have to take personal responsibility, and you know, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do as citizens. And I'm for as little government as possible. So it's like, you know, people like to put everybody in a box. You're either a liberal or you're a conservative, and there's no nuance to it. So I think a lot of people try to hit me with like what they think I might be insulted by, when I'm like, I don't care about any of those motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, I will say this though, I like Donald Trump a hell of a lot better than I like Biden. Do you recommend which one to go with TRT? Both of them. But I mean, what are you taking them for, Justin? Do you have an injury you're trying to heal from? If you ever reach your max, you can gain any more muscle. I would jump on TRT, start small, and doses are, yeah. Well, you're good. You're definitely going to gain muscle if you're suffering from low testosterone and you go on doctor prescribed TRT. Anything more than to be clear, I consider anything more than doctor prescribed TRT to be a cycle, even if it's 50 milligrams. Best movie ever. The first movie that always comes to mind whenever anyone ever asks me that is the movie Aliens. No, and I know it's not the best movie ever, and it's not even my favorite movie, but for some reason that's the one my brain always goes to. It's definitely like top 10 for sure. Best movie ever. I really liked Empire Strikes Back. Of course, The Godfather. Lord of the Rings trilogy. Because I saw that in the theaters as a youngin'. Oh, well, I wasn't that young, but let's see, what other movies really stuck with me? There's a lot. There's a lot of good movies. Let's see. What was the... I'm glad Christina's in here to answer for you, Justin. Because she's currently on that right now. Let's see. TRT, HGH, and Cialis. HGH is expensive. I can't afford HGH. Otherwise, I would probably give it a try. At my age, for sure. I just can't. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. Forrest Gump, Gen A. Forrest Gump was a good movie, yeah. Apocalyptica was depressing. Hurt Locker. Well, see, if anybody in the service, we look at Hurt Locker like that didn't happen. But as entertaining as that movie was so fucking full of shit. EOD techs don't just become special forces operatives and go hunt down terrorists. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Uh, Dropsy, thanks, brother. I'm glad you. I'm trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. I don't really know what that'll do for me, but it's kind of like plates on a barbell. Like, why is a 405 bench awesome, but a 395 bench not good enough? You like to see those nice even plates on the bar, I think it's the same thing with subscribers. Oh man, my wife's a godsend. I'm so glad I have her. I probably would have been dead years ago. Did the Empire really strike back? No, not really. Not in that one. Now that you mention it. Well, I mean, they took out the rebel base on Hoth. So, what's up, Doe? Juice World Videos. The dogma of both parties, not actual ideologies, makes both repelling. I myself want to see a meritocracy and even a semi-technocratic state over plutocracy of old geriatrics. Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Prophet Fear. That is very well said. Exactly. Yeah. No, so The Hurt Locker was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It was entertaining. It just wasn't realistic. Definitely closer to a classic liberal than a modern liberal. Yeah, well, classic liberal is good. That's what we want. That's what America was founded on. Where's your son tonight? He didn't want to come over. Well, kind of hurt my feelings, to be honest with you, if I'm being 100% candid. Caleb, haven't seen you once, but you do a good job at you. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Thoughts on Charles Bronson? Charles Bronson is the GOAT. That man, that guy exudes manliness. I don't recall. Oh, you're talking about the Tom Hardy movie, the other Charles Bronson, the prisoner, the most violent prisoner in England's history. That movie was great. Stop talking and get the work in, brother. Let's see here. Music. What about music? Just finished high school thinking about becoming a cop. What do you want to become a police officer for? My father's a retired police chief. He started out as a dispatcher, and he was on the force for 50 years. So I grew up with being around police officers my entire life. And when I got out of the Marines, I was going to become a cop. And my dad told me, he goes, don't do it because you think I want you to. So if you find your own path. If you want to become a police officer, that's fine. But I got to thinking about it. I was like, what do I want to become a cop for? And I couldn't think of a good enough reason. So I'm not saying what I did was any better. Yeah, he's 13. He wants to hang out with his friends, and his mom doesn't make him do chores and doesn't hold him to any standards, so he could sit there and play video games all weekend. So, when he hangs out at Dad's house, he's expected to do stuff. The difference between 2008 Biden and 2024 Biden was disturbing, right? You know what's funny, though? If you go back and just listen to 2008 Biden videos, he pretty much counters every single standing point on his platform. And it just baffles me that the people that voted for him couldn't do a modicum of research and go look at published information that's easily acceptable or accessible. Like, he's been historically one of the most racist people in government. Oh, don't even get me started. It just, I am disappointed by how stupid half our country is. And I mean that in the literal sense. I mean, with all the shit that we have going on in the world, and the two biggest issues were abortion and trans rights. What? Your right to murder babies and the rights of a segment of the population that's not even a 1%. And then when they're saying like, oh, you're taking away all my rights. What rights do you not have that I don't have? You know what I mean? Like, people keep saying that. Like, what do you have? Like, what, if anything, you guys are privileged. Everybody, I hear that from the feminists, and I hear that from the LGBT, the Wi-Fi password people, about how there's a trans genocide. Like, what? Who? Where? Like, what? What are you talking about? You're taking away my rights. What rights? What rights do I have that you don't? And they can never answer because it's bullshit. Science-based or ego lifting? Yes. Biden was supposed to be the centrist Democrat. Well, I think Biden was a populist. When he still had his marbles, he would pretty much just kind of go with, whatever. Ego lifting is science-based. Feminism does a good job of alienating boys and disenfranchising men because any instance of male suffering marginalizes them. Yes, but they're also anti-women because they cared more about a man who chopped his wiener off and put a wig on, his ability to go into a woman's bathroom, than they were about women having their own privacy. I mean, like, what? Well, Christina, my wife, says not all feminists are that way. No, you're a first wave feminist, sweetheart. No, second wave, I would say. You actually care about women, like genetic women, biological women. All right. California love. All right. I'd love to drop the weight and do hypertrophy, but it's just too much volume when working 10-hour shifts. Kenneth, just take your steps to failure. You'll get hypertrophy. There's a big, let's see what Prophet Fear says. People train with lower volumes than powerlifting. Yeah. Uh, but even like when I do this 6 week program, I'm going to start on the first. The first 3 weeks are hypertrophy. And the sets still aren't that big. I mean, you take like whatever your rep, right? Let's say the weight you would normally use for a set of 5, right? Take that set to failure, and you've got hypertrophy. Or it wouldn't be able to explain my build otherwise, because I traditionally do only low volume. Low volumes to failure are less to your total than higher volumes not to failure. Yes. Yes, but he was specifically saying he doesn't have the time to work out. It's like, you do what you got to do. But how long does it take to do this? Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're 100% right, which is why I've been staying away from top end stuff. Like the other day, well, may I ask how old you are? 50. Watch Jordan Peters and bodybuilders that don't do fluff. Yeah, pretty much. Levi 4S Call of Duty. That's awesome for you guys. I don't mean any hate. I didn't think it came across that way. Unless I missed a comment. Just asking out of curiosity, you can mix both from optimum results. Oh, I didn't know your conversation, so I missed that. Asia, howdy. Set of 5, or where you're at. You should be able to get hypertrophy from, like, dude, I mean, the 5 sets of 5 will give you hypertrophy. Especially if you've got good range of motion and tempo. Absolutely. David D, what's up? This movement I'm doing. This is more of a strength movement, so it's a dynamic box squat. So what am I doing? I'm doing a 3-second tempo, which is 1, 2, 3 to the box. And then I'm coming off the box after I break the stretch reflex. I'm coming off the box as fast as possible. So I'm trying to accelerate the weight. And each rep I do, I'm trying to do faster than the previous one. So it really just, the strength carryover from this movement's insane if they're done properly. A lot of people do box squats, but really all they're doing is sitting on a box. It's the same. You get no different benefit than if you just do regular squats. And I've often wondered why people even bother to do box squats. But if you do them right, you get some killer strength gains out of it. The definition of hypertrophy is the growth of muscle. What are your long-term goals for fitness influencing? Do you still sell training, food programs? I don't sell anything, Milan. I'm a competitive powerlifter. I don't know, man. That'd be kind of. I would sell something if I thought somebody would buy something. But now I'm free. You just train with me. Like, it's cool. Matt, what's up? UK Marines are awesome. Are you talking about world's strongest Marine? You got who you got? I'll look him up, see if he's got a higher dot score than me. David D. I'd like to pause at the bottom and explode out of the hole. Yeah, exactly. And what's cool about this is this movement will also help eliminate sticking points. It's kind of like what would be the equivalent for deadlifts. Well, there's speed pulls, there's dead rows, and then there's stiff leg deficit pulls. And all 3 of those movements will eliminate sticking points. How should I react if I have turmoil with my parents? Little Joe. That could be a long conversation. I guess I would have to start with why do you have turmoil with your parents? Like maybe get some context from you. I found that my hips, back, etc. get stiff and sore when I don't go heavy. Really? Well, I mean, yeah, I'm 50. If I don't train, I can't hardly walk. It's like I ossify. I turn into some geriatric. So I can kind of understand what you're talking about. Man, I'm doing real good, brother. I haven't been on signal in the last few days, and I apologize for that. I get my head up my ass with getting online and talking to people. Heard people talking about controlling the negative. What does that mean? Well, if you it's adding tempo to your movements, you slow the negatives down. Boom, force, and then slow it down. It it increases the efficiency of your workouts greatly. Populism is terrifying. Well, think of it. So this is the reason why when we were doing when I was doing my thesis when I did go to school, we were talking about how democracy is a transitory form of government, and there's no such thing as a pure democracy, and a pure democracy can't exist because it always devolves or evolves into something else. And the reason why is because we as a species are gregarious by nature, and we appeal to charisma, leadership. So eventually, a mob is going to have problems, and all it's going to take is someone that's charismatic to come along and convince them that they can solve their problems if they follow their direction, and if they speak with enough authority, that mob will follow that person. It's happened in every instance, in every single point in history, at any place in time, which is why our founding fathers did not have a democracy. We have a constitutional republic under the rule of law with protections so that we couldn't devolve into tyranny. But basically, democracy is mob rule, and it almost always gets usurped by populism. It's the same thing that happened in the October Revolution, 1917 Russia, when the Tsar was overthrown. The revolutionaries overthrew the Tsar, and then they were like, now what? Well, Germany sent all them motherfucking exiled Bolsheviks back over there with the intention of starting shit so that they could, that was their plan to keep Russia from being a problem. They figured if they let the Bolsheviks infect, that newly formed mob rule democracy with a little bit of communism, they would devolve and they wouldn't be a threat. How wrong they were. But that's what happened. The Bolsheviks took over. And that's a really, 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 really abridged version of what happened. But essentially, Lenin sounded great. He got on the microphone and convinced everybody that I'm going to fix everything, and we're all going to be, we're going to bring on the utopia of just do what I tell you to. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do what he tells you to. Let's murder all the farmers. and then and then wonder why we're in a famine because nobody knows how to farm. It's a great idea. Who do you think is the strongest Akatsuki member? That's a question for my wife. Babe, I don't know if you heard that question. Kind of the phrase, I always feel nice and loose after leg day. I wish I did. We don't need the United States of Athens. Yeah, that's right. Profit fear. But even they, so if you look at the Athens, like, okay, let me think here. I got to go back to my studies here. The Greeks they were a democracy. They had a senate, but didn't they also have a somebody that was appointed like emperor, king, that was under how did it work? Why did Athens fail? Well, I could say because of the Persians. I got to think back here. I haven't studied. I have to bring back my studies here. But yeah, it was another democracy. No democracy has ever flourished, ever. It's transitory. It can't. It's just mob rule devolves. It usually devolves into tyranny, or in our case, evolves into. We're lucky that we had English common law as a scaffolding. Uh, the Germans settling the path for Stalin to accelerate Russia 100 years into the future is why they couldn't beat them twice. Well, no, they never planned on Stalin. That was Lenin. Stalin took over. Stalin basically wrestled that shit away. There was a lot of dirty work. They got rid of the Mensheviks. They got rid of Trotsky. There was a lot of corruption in the Bolshevik Party, and that's the reason why Stalin was able to take power. The Germans never planned on Stalin, and Stalin would do anything to both retain power and, well, man, I would love to turn this into I did my thesis on Eastern Bloc communism, so that's something that I'm very knowledgeable about, which is why I laugh. I laugh when people think that communism's a good idea and we should try it in America. Like, are you fucking insane? Like, not only has it failed in every single system it's ever been tried at, it's been tried in enough of a diversity of cultures to prove that it wasn't just like a culture, a cultural incompatibility. It's not compatible with any culture because it goes against human nature. Communism is straight satanic. And then people rail against capitalism. Oh, capitalism is evil. It dispossesses those at the bottom, and the rich get richer. Yeah, that's any fucking system of government. It's called a Pareto distribution. 10% of the people will always do 90% of the work. It's like the rich will always get richer and the poor will always get poorer. That happens in every single system of government that's ever existed. The question is, which one has the best at letting the people from the bottom get to the top? And that's free market capitalism. And people say, well, what about America? We're not free market capitalism. We are more socialist than actual countries that call themselves socialist. And our government controls all of the markets that we purchase from. So until we get rid of our government and how bloated it's become, we will never have a free market capitalist society. I mean, I'd love to see a capitalist society. Give it a try. Trotsky was a Jewish caricature that everyone hated. Yeah, they did him dirty. Not saying I agree with him either, but if I was going to pick the lesser of two evils, at least he wasn't into just arbitrarily murdering his own citizens for his own gain, The only countries that tried communism willingly were backwaters. I actually do believe collectivism was his idea. Oh, yeah. I actually honestly believe that communism works for small societies under 150 people. If you look at the way that we were collected, we evolved to be in small communities, and there's science to back that we could basically retain in memory about 150 people is what we're genetically designed to keep track of, and they've known this for a long time. That's not new science. So if you take a small community, I think that a small community can thrive in a communist situation, like a commune, or a bunch of dirty hippies, or goddamn rubbing patchouli on themselves and dancing in the fucking moonlight with mushrooms and shit. Those people can be communists. They could share all their, dirty underwear or whatever, and they'll be perfectly happy. But once you start getting above 150 people, there's too many controlling interests. We're just so diverse, and not all of us agree. You don't like the same things I like, and that inherently will make communism fail by itself. So the only way to enforce collectivism is using violence, coercion. You'll never get anyone to willingly do it. Those backwaters got more powerful until they imploded into a black hole or became the Republic of China. Profit fear. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Name one. Well, Cambodia. Oh, that went great. Hey, let's kill everybody that's educated and competent. Pareto rule. Yes. Let's go Team C's 100%. Am I mispronouncing it? I believe it's just pronounced Pareto. 20% does 80% of the work. Yep. Yeah. Uh, 20% of basketball players score 80% of the goals. Like that. Yeah, you can look at that. That's actually statistically accurate. You're wrong about the rich always getting richer, the poor always getting more poor. In a communist system, absolutely. That's a 100% what happens. And I would challenge you to find me an example where I'm wrong, because I can name off the top of my head about 15. When a system crashes, there's redistribution. When? Where has that ever happened? Redistribution is always done with a gun or the threat of violence. We do it in our country with taxes. And what happens if you don't pay your taxes? I hear you. I've got nothing left to lose. I'm hoping that the Army will go well for me, which is what I'm going for. Little Joe, be a Marine. If you got nothing left to lose, the United States Marine Corps wants you. I'm amazed at how Russia and the USSR was gaining to be a leader and an innovator in sciences despite its dystopian, disincentivized state. Modern day Russia can't get anything done, and that's why all their equipment sucks. That's why all of their innovations are mostly paper. They look great, like their new, what is it, the SU-57 Felon. Looks cool, except for it's not a stealth aircraft, and they've only made, what, 20 of them? Yeah, good job, guys. Every 100 years when a currency collapses. Oh, no, you got to name an example. Name a specific example. I know my history, and I know what I'm talking about, so I can name examples. You have to prove your point to me because I'm the one that's saying you're wrong. Give me an example. Like, where? When in that history has that ever happened? Unless you mean by redistribution, like when a state devolves into total anarchy and it's everyone for themselves. What's the physical standard to pass the requirements to join the Army? I think you have to be able to tie your shoes and maybe pat your head and rub your belly at the same time. Fun fact. I might be I'm misunderstanding you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. So if that's the case, I do apologize. Fun facts. Did you guys know the Marine Corps is Copenhagen's #1 customer? Yeah, sounds about right. I've spoken with a Marine recruiter. Sounds tough. I wanted to pass a waiver. Been to MEPS and all, trying to go 68 whiskey. 68 whiskey. What is that? I don't know my Army MOSs. Is that communications? Tie your shoes. Yeah. Why are you insulting Russia? Why are you? Well, we're not insulting Russia. We're telling the truth. Look, if you call someone fat and they're fat, is that an insult? Is it an insult to point out the objective truth about somebody? We're not insulting. Russia's a shit show, and I don't know how anyone could say anything different. You know what? You know how many casualties you've had, and you haven't even conquered Ukraine? Are they over 700,000 now? I mean, that's incredible. That blows me on my mind that they've killed or maimed 700,000 Russians, mostly conscripts who had no idea what they're getting into, with little or no training and the shittiest equipment known to man. And they're just thrown into a meat grinder, and they've not even gained anything from it. They've lost an entire generation of men, which they will never recover from, because who the fuck's going to move to Russia? Dude, it is laughable. We tell the truth on this channel. The first LED was created in the USSR almost 100 years ago. No, they've had some really good science and innovation. I'm not saying they haven't, but I'm just saying communism. Because I put on the wrong docs this morning. Wrong socks. I was 11 Bravo and airborne. What is that? 68 whiskey. Is that communication or is that medical? Oh, combat medic. Okay. Meanwhile, modern Russia can't take back Kursk, right? Right? Uh, oh, we love Russian people, Dimitri. Like, we love you guys. I've got tons of Russian friends. You guys are awesome. I love my Russian buddies. One of my favorite powerlifters is Russian. He beat me 2 years in a row. But yeah, your country's fucked up. but it's not like we don't have our problems here in America too. We got to get our shit together too. Trump said he would not help Zelensky with any money, so how would Ukraine survive without the USA help? That's a war we should have never been in to begin with. The only reason why we're in that war is because of Biden's corruption. I mean, the dealings that he had with them. Why did we get involved in that to begin with? Give me one good reason. Before all the rhetoric and the brainwashing and the bleeding heart bullshit, the original, why did we ever get involved with that? What was our reason for even being tied to Ukraine? I know the answer because I've seen the videos. I've heard Joe Biden say specifically, but it's funny how and that shows how social media can be used to brainwash and manipulate an entire generation of stupid Americans who think that they're fighting for freedom. It's like you got to question everything. Now, that's not saying like if Ukraine didn't appeal to the UN for help, maybe that's warranted, but for us to give the aid that we've given, like what's our incentive to do so? I've noticed a lot of recruiters are desperate at the moment, lowering standards for jobs and willing to take most people. Lord knows what's going on. Yeah, we're not meeting our recruitment numbers. And when I was in active duty, they would just do what's called stop loss. They would make you serve another year and give you rank and maybe $30,000 to $50,000 bonus and Merry Christmas. That's how they prevented like a draft. They just kept people longer. Well, now they're kind of running out of people to keep longer, and they're not getting enough recruits to make up for the difference. So it is a big part. That's a problem. Part of being a good recruiter, yeah, that's right. You got to be a better salesman. What's up, Rock? Trump was the one who initiated armament sales to Ukraine. No, I have no problem selling them weapons. I think that's great. You want to buy weapons? We can sell them weapons. I don't see an issue with that. But there's a difference between selling weapons and giving aid, taking taxpayer money to fund a proxy war, with like why? And I don't think that would have started under the Trump presidency to begin with. I do agree with you though, Prophet. Like you're speaking truth. Why wouldn't they want to crush a competitor's hard and soft power with relatively minimal cost? Yes, you're giving reasons, right? But why couldn't they be factual about it? You know what I mean? Why don't you what they had to sell us this bullshit when we all knew what the fucking reason was, and it just shows you how pliable our population is. Ooh, you like my bicep veins? Yeah. My wife's telling me to shut up and lift. Thanks, baby. She wants pizza. Of course, you know, that being said, I'm also not against, I don't know, I think it's a complex. I'm not really against supporting Ukraine. You know, I wouldn't want to go back to being Russia either, and their people have said that they don't want to go back to being Russian. I just wish that we could be honest about our motivations. I had 3 buddies at MEPS who weren't originally supposed to qualify for 68 whiskey. A minimum MEP score was 101. Usually with specific MOSs, it's more of a cutting score, not a total test score. Had people disqualify with a score of 69. See, so like, I'll give you a good example. My job required a high GT score, which is like spatial awareness, geometry, mathematics, science. My ASVAB score wasn't that great. I was a fucking dropout. Lived on the streets. Like, so I didn't test that high. I think I was in the mid 80s. But my GT score, the portion of it where, you know, you put the little shapes together and you do like the IQ test stuff, was off the charts. It was a 125. So I qualified for any technical job in the military I wanted, but it went by that score breakdown. And they have like, when you take the ASVAB, they break it down. They have a GT score for geospatial technical, and then or I forgot what the fuck it stands for. And then they got one for linguistics, like languages, and one of them's like, it's like there's like 5 different categories which dictate what you would be good at. And I think I would imagine for medic, it's probably a combination of things. What's the point I was trying to make? Oh, you don't necessarily have to have the highest test score, overall test score, to test well in a certain area. That's how they were able to recruit from people that aren't educated, like people that don't have a high education. They could still kind of get a good level of what their skill sets would be with proper training. The situation is a legacy of US coasting Ukraine to hand over its nuclear arsenal under security assurances. Yeah, but I was wondering if there wasn't more to it than that. Because obviously we that's interesting that you brought that up, Prophet Fear, because we were talking about that, like what's in it for us? Like if you look at Ukraine was the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. Cat, what's up? My sister's in the house. World Eater Master. Aiden. I should have known it was you with a name like that. World Eater. World Eater Master. I feel like your name's missing something, but we'll talk about it. World Eater, you think Warhammer, obviously. I think the best ones are the fatty drone pilots. Yeah. Dude, it's scary, man. I have my thoughts on drone warfare. Thank you, Dakota. What's your favorite person from history? Who is your favorite person from history? Who is your very favorite person of history? Let me think about that. If I have to pick one, I could be trite and say somebody like Nietzsche. No. Although the boy had some good points. Favorite person in history. Rocky Marciano. Trying to think. Thought Winston Churchill was pretty cool. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And who was that wrestler that beat up Bruce Lee? That guy's pretty good. Did you see the... I haven't seen any of the classified stuff yet. Don't fart, right, Christopher? My favorite person so far is Nikola Tesla, by far. Yeah. Little Joe, read my last comment. You're gonna make me scroll through all this shit? Okay, here we go. The MEPS comment, I already read that. I had 3 buddies at MEPS who weren't originally qualified to be 68 whiskey. We were literally just talking about that. Little Joe, unless you have another one. Dude loved a pigeon and wanted to marry it. Chuck Norris is pretty cool. Favorite person, though. Yeah, I would say Rocky Marciano is my favorite, but there's so many. There's like you could go with like if you want to go with like Marines, you can go with like Chesty Puller or who's his machine gunner that was put up for the Medal of Honor twice. God damn it, what was that guy's name? He was a boxer too. Uh, 26-23. Competition's March 15th. You're gonna have to type your comment again, Little Joe. I didn't see it. The First Heretic was a good read. Can you teach me? Teach you what? What do you want to know? I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about weightlifting, I mean, I could probably help you. All right, Little Joe, I'm going to look for your comment again, but you're taking the chat hostage here. How hard would it be for you to just retype it? Marcelo, thank you. I didn't see your comment. Samir, I didn't see yours either. Annexation of Canada. You know, if I was Canadian, I would love for the U.S. to annex. We'd immediately have better health care, way lower taxes. I think the cost of the quality of life would go up greatly for Canadians if they became part of America. But at the same time, I can also see why they wouldn't want to. Agent Dark, damn. 50. Fiddy, F-I-D-D-Y, Fiddy. Have you heard of Vince Garanda? Yeah, 8x8 program. Well, I would say, so yeah, I had a Vince Garanda's, I think I've got his book. Let me see here. Where did that book go? Let's see. Oh, what'd I do with it? California. Oh man. I'll have to look. I have some like what is it, like not golden era, like a bronze era training publications, and I don't know what I did with them. I had a stack of them. They were obviously reprints. They're not originals, but um, oh, I wish I could find them because I'm reading through them. They actually were really really ahead of their time with some of their training. Well, yeah, profit fear. I would totally agree with you, but it's still interesting to read to see how far ahead they were from what was known at the time, and it was just a handful of guys that were doing it. And even though it is significantly less effective, you still could get results from it. That being said, I have no interest in doing 8x8s. There's way too much volume for me. Little Joe, basically what was crazy is I saw a lot of people in MEPS that said they're ready for war. Yeah, well, okay, so it's kind of like me taking Muay Thai. I had grossly overestimated my fighting ability, because I have, especially with doing the boxing training and having done a little bit of kickboxing back in the day, I've basically got my ass beat every sparring session. I'm getting better, but I think the military is the same way. We have this romantic idea of what war is, and a lot of that's based on video games, social media, TV, movies. Like people haven't really thought it through, and they don't understand what war actually is, or what you could be expected to participate in. And um, Dennis, there's only one way to find out. uh, Men in general overestimate their combat abilities, including myself. I'm training hard right now, and I really want to get into the UFC, and I need cardio training. Um, well, if you're training to get into the UFC, what kind of training are you doing? Because I'm taking Muay Thai, and I would say 50% of what we do is cardio. The pin is funny. You like that, Dimitri? Well, everybody always asks me those questions. I want to do shrooms. I like pinto beans. I haven't done shrooms in a long, long, long time. J204. So far the pump's not great. I'm talking to you guys. Acid. I haven't done acid in. The last time I did acid was 1996, and I'll never do it again. It was a very, very bad experience. I was on leave. We just got off of our first deployment, 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit. I was up in Seattle. I don't know if I want to get in that story. Any advice to young men in here? Don't do acid. Agent Dark. I I don't know. Any advice? Yeah. Say what you mean and stick by what you say. A lot of UFC fighters do a lot of air dyeing. Air dyeing. I don't know. I mean, that's cool if you're into that. I feel like I feel like a hamster. Like if I'm gonna do like I gotta get if I'm gonna ride a bike, I'm gonna get out there and ride a bike. If I'm gonna run, I'm gonna go run. And not to saying that you can't get. It's probably even more effective based on modern technology and the scientific principles of resistance that's built into those amazing machines that cost a lot of money. But how much better is it than actually just getting a Schwinn and going for a ride around the block? I don't know. Has there ever been a time that you've accidentally and purposely killed somebody? uh, we're gonna skip that one. What what I did appreciate was that there were a few number ones at MEPS and a few airborne as well. Makes me proud of our military's future. Little Joe. Yeah, I was seeing him. It's funny because I was artillery, 155 millimeter howitzers, and like the first thing people say to me is like, "Oh, you're a pogue. You weren't even infantry. You weren't even combat." Like, well, first of all, yeah, cannons are in combat. What are you talking about? But what I remind people is that I chose my job. I took a test, and then I asked what I'm qualified for, and I picked artillery because it sounded badass. Uh, Being infantry sounded like it really sucked. Let me get this straight. So from Monday to Friday, you're out in the field, and you have to walk everywhere with your everything you own. Or I can go out to the field for 3 or 4 months at a time, which sucks because you're in the desert for 3 or 4 months at stretch because they're not going to deploy. You're not going to send like artillery out for a weekend because of all the logistics that goes with it. So if you're going to go to the training, you're going to train for 2 or 3 months straight. But I have a vehicle. I can drive. All my shit's in the back of a Humvee. We have more heavy guns than a heavy guns company. We've got our forward observers, which are like their little special forces recon types. We have ordnance techs. We have ammo techs. We have like the EOD guys. Like we have the engineers. We have more motor T than a motor T company. We got everything. We got meteorologists that go out with us. Plus, we have the big guns, the cannons, 155 millimeter howitzers or HIMARS rocket systems. It's just bitching. It's just cool. We have Avenger Humvees that shoot like anti-air missiles. I think they're the what missiles do those things fire? I want to say the is it the Sparrows? I don't remember, but they're pretty bitching. This guy sits in a turret on the back of a Humvee, and it's got these 4 packs of anti-air missiles. Uh, any ghost stories while in the Marines? Uh, yes, there was some weird shit we saw in Iraq. I don't really know how to describe it though. Um, Rocks, DX, DX and Beck. How is it, sir? Good. Good evening, kind sir. K-Ed, what's up? What's up, brother? Amon. Hell yeah, I remember you. Uh, Crystal Lynn, Dawn, Day Chief. What about astrologers? Uh, well, no astrologers, but we do use astronomy to triangulate our positions at night. So you could triangulate your position with any known. You need 3 fixed points, and you could either use topography, and this is like if you say, assuming you don't have GPS, but we had to learn it in case you lost all computer systems. So everything we did on the computer, we had to learn to do manual. So in the case like your firing solution computer went down, you broke out slide rules, charts, and you had to use trigonometry and you had to do math because you're going to provide accurate fire whether your shit works or not. Well, the same thing with triangulation. If I know your location, I know my location, and I can accurately use fixed points on a map to determine where I'm at, and constellations are fixed points. So we had to learn to do that. That was pretty cool. That falls more into survey, though. Do they go with you on missions? Yeah. So we had a meteorologist and a Marine, and his job was literally to uh, intermittently send up a little weather balloon with a tiny computer, and it would beam back information as it rose through the atmosphere, and that would go right into our firing solution computer. So when we're shooting bullets 20 miles, it would take into account atmospheric pressure, and it would help with provide accurate fire. And for all my flat earthers in the chat, we actually did also calculate for rotation of the earth as well. So but just the fact that we use GPS, which is global positioning satellite, should end that argument by itself anyways. But no Star Wars style vehicles, cat. Could you talk more about the bizarre stuff you saw in Iraq? We once accidentally murdered a herd of camels. So, an artillery position is exposed or vulnerable to attack if somebody were to come up the rear, or if there was armor, tank drove up on us. Like we're very vulnerable to that. So we have assets to help provide protection. And what they do is once they set the guns up in whatever area they're at, we kind of circle the wagons with all the rest of our equipment, and on each one of those vehicles is typically a crew served, either a Mark 19, a 240 Golf, which is a 7.62 um, multi or general purpose machine gun. Fires like cyclic rate about 700 rounds a minute, and then what was the other one? The Ma 2, the Ma Deuce, the 50 cal. uh, there was a herd of camels that was owned by an Iraqi citizen that was coming up the rear of our position, and one of the Marines opened fire on them because in his night vision goggles he thought that it was the enemy coming up. They thought it was enemy infantry sneaking up on us. So once he started firing, everybody else just started firing, and they didn't even know what they were shooting at, and they obliterated this entire herd of like 50 plus camels. And the guy that owned the camels was in a Toyota pickup truck, and it was just riddled with 50 cal munition, Mark 19 40 millimeter grenade explosions. It was just like somehow the guy lived. He was curled up underneath his vehicle, and by the time they called check fire, when they realized that there was nothing shooting back at us, and we went out there to investigate, they sent the Force observers out, and it was a herd of camels. We wound up having, it almost sparked an international incident, and we had to pay. The 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit they basically had to settle and pay the guy for all of the animals he got killed, and I'm sure he got a few bucks out of it too. So that was like that actually happened. What's your max bet? I don't know what that is. Thought about the Artie in the Army, but since I qualified for 68 whiskey, right now they're offering an extra 14,000 to join. Hey, get your money, brother. What's your max bench? All time or currently? Currently it's right around 400 pounds. I would say all time is like 425. Thomas Arnold's made up. You wish. The 50 cal that broke the camel's back. Yeah, that happened. 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, Romeo Battery. And I can tell you this, Thomas. I have people on my subscriber list that I actually served with that could corroborate that. So, really gay vibes. Oh, sorry, Big D. I wish I could help you. My wife's in the chat. I'm married. Let's see here. You a hillbilly. It's Hill William. Thank you very much. Diana, thanks. I'll do another set here. All right. And then we're going to migrate into deadlifting. I can do 3 sets of 405, and then I need to move into deadlift. One-man army. Where did it happen? The southern border of Iraq. We'll do one more set at 405 and then we'll move it over. Whew. Got up to 345. Nice. That's awesome. How many reps did you do? Or did you just do a single? I have a couple cannons myself, but nothing like your howitzers. What do you got, like the 105 millimeter? Phew. Do you ever foresee war during Trump's term? Hard to say. I think he's going to initially make peace, but I think the Houthi pirates are done for. They're going to get wiped out, which is going to be Iran's proxy. But I think Iran's going to back off. No, I don't foresee any war during Trump's term. I just don't know who would have the balls to start it. How old was the youngest weightlifting competitor you ever met? 13, Kat. Actually, in competition, 13. Era, what's up? Kate Goodwin. I'm building up. Only 70 pounds now. But I'm trying to get my horse and I into shape for endurance racing. Nice. So when you say endurance racing, what do you mean by that? Like, maybe you can expound on that a little bit. 70 pounds for powerlifting. Okay, I got you. Long live the horse of America. Trump 2025. Do you feel like you guys accomplished anything by going to a war with Iraq? No. Oh, it's hard to say. Geopolitics are a tricky thing. See, like what they don't tell most Americans is that of all the OPEC countries, America is the biggest exporter. We don't need a drop of oil from the Middle East. We don't. Well, that's not. But because our dollars, the petrodollar. I mean, the value of our currency is very much tied to those foreign exchange markets. So it's what I wish they would do is they would tell the American citizens why we're overseas and what we're actually doing, like policing the shipping lanes and allowing freedom of navigation, as opposed to, the bullshit that they sell the American public. Let's see. ISOC dis not. I bet I can't pronounce my name. That's clever. It's a good name. You got me. You did get me. I kind of figured it was going to be something like that, though. Who's going to carry the boats? How do I get a Gen X girlfriend? Well, if you're in Vegas, you can go down to this. What's the name of that country bar we go to, baby? Just go in there and just, I don't know, start buying girls drinks. Chances are one of them will go home with you. Just tell them you'll be her cabana pool boy or something. Riding long distance and not fatiguing a certain time limit for a horse. The rider has to be fit enough for long rides. Horse is vetted multiple times during the ride and they can safely continue. But how long do you guys ride for? Boats are supposed to carry you, right? Yeah, somebody's got to carry the boats to the water, though. I wish I lived in a populous area. One-man army. For how long did you serve Iraq? I didn't serve Iraq, but I was in Iraq. The total time? 6 months. Then we were in Jordan too. That was pretty cool. So we did cross training with the Jordanian army because he bought a bunch of equipment from America. He bought a bunch of the old AH-1 attack Cobras and a whole bunch of like the M1908 howitzers and 100, what were those, the M105, 109, 105 millimeter howitzers, and just a bunch of our older gear that we were no longer using. I want to say some like A1 Abrams tanks. No, did we? I don't recall seeing those there. But anyway, we were cross training with the Jordanians to teach them how to basically use the shit they bought from us. That was pretty cool to take part in that. That was neat. Uh, and unknown or us itself? I must have missed the question. I get so many girls. There's a lot of lonely old ladies out there looking for a young man to dust them britches off. 25 to 100 miles. So it's like a marathon on a horse. That's so cool. And where will you be having that race? Because I know they have something like that in the Middle East. Uh, 7, the most knee bends I've done in a day is for 2,000 reps. Damn. What's up, OG Boo Dirty? North Flow Consulting. Where are you from? I'm from Illinois, but I live in Las Vegas. Bet I can't pick what up. You sound like a military veteran. Is it that bad, Oscar? I've already lifted it twice, but that's not even heavy weight. That's like not even warm up weight. It's a good amount of weight for this movement though, the box squat, because of the negative count. You hold, you got the 3-second negative, and then you're also shooting off the box as fast as possible, so it hits your legs harder than if it was just a regular 405-pound squat. And 3 sets of 3, no more than 5 sets is about what you want to do these for. I wish there was Gen X girls at my gym. Well, how old are you, Kenneth? We're old. I like the woman with the white hair. I like it when she's in the wheelchair. What country am I from? The United States of America. Kat Johnson is my sister. Does she need any lifting tips? Normally, she's a trainer. You do mostly like calisthenics, though, right, Kat? There's a theory which I've seen that believes which is war is the main option for world peace. What's your stance on this, little Joe? Well, if you want to dig into like human psychology and the fact that we are just simple. How do I simplify this? We're very tribal. You could almost compare us to like what would be an analogy in nature: tribes of chimpanzees, and how they'll literally tear each other apart to protect their territory. We just have that built into us. So I don't know if it's possible for humans to ever be at peace without the use of violence or coercion. Basically, somebody has to force you to act peacefully, and that's usually by rule of law, and making it societally unacceptable. And I think like America's made great strides, even though the rest of the world thinks that there's roving death patrols of rednecks riding around and in pickup trucks with weapons shooting everybody. Like, we are actually a really, really safe country to live in. I have never walked down the street and feared for my life. And it's taken a lot to get society to that point. And you could say that this is probably as good as it's going to get. So how do you get the rest of the world on board with that? And a lot of it is like bringing people out of poverty. If our needs are met, it's just like your dog. You could have the most vicious dog in the world and he could rip your throat out. But if you keep him well fed and happy, chances are he's not going to be as aggressive. So if we meet the needs of people, food, shelter, love, all that stuff, chances are the violence will go down with it. Now, will we ever be free of violence? Oh, when you have one tribe that conflicts with another, usually it's settled if it's not settled diplomatically, they'll usually go to war. So how do we settle that? Well, we've made great strides in that area too. We got things like the UN. We have like a kind of a global government. I'm not for globalism. I think everybody's got the right to their own. Uh, you will we ever get to the point of world peace? I don't think that humans are capable of it. So you can achieve peace with the threat of violence. You know, like look at okay, YouTube's a good example. Read how shitty the comment section is sometimes. Why? Why is it the comment section's like that? Because there's no threat of violence. You know there's going to be no consequences for you to say the shittiest thing that you can think of to somebody. But in real life, you wouldn't talk to the guy at the grocery store that way because why? He might smack you. There's a threat of violence, and no matter how unlikely it is, it's implied that it could. It's a less than 0% chance it could happen. And sometimes, power perceived is power achieved. And that's kind of where it comes down to like having strong militaries and having strong security forces. You don't necessarily want to deploy them. It's like a fire extinguisher. You hope you never have to use it, but you don't want to be without one, if that makes sense. So in that regards, yeah, I think it's every country needs to have a strong military and the ability to utilize it. Like who's going to attack America? Why haven't we been overrun yet? Everybody hates us. Is it a workout channel or politics? Well, I do my lifting, Southside Doug, and people ask me questions, and I try to be as honest as possible, and they just happen to ask me that. In between sets. I don't generally talk about politics, but it did come up. If you ask me my opinion, I'll give it to you. One man army. What makes you say that? What did he say? I didn't see the comment. One man army. What makes you say that? I did not see his comment, so I don't know what he said. I think someone is selling my info to scammers because I answered a call to someone random and now they won't answer. Baseball lover. That sounds like every day on my phone. You military greed. I'm not active duty anymore. I served in the Marine Corps. Southside Doug. He knows B looks real good. Thank you, I think. Dude, you just got a new subscriber. Thanks, Sunday. Sounds cool. It's all good. 420. No, there's only 405 on there right now, but unless you're talking about down at 420. You build your body, but if you get shot from a gun, the body goes to waste. Well, Infinite, are you only working out to defend yourself? That's a silly thing. You should do fight training if you want to. And even those guys aren't bulletproof. That's like saying your seatbelt's not going to work if a plane crashes and smashes your car. What are you going to do if the bomb explodes the bridge you're on? What good's your windshield going to do you then? That's kind of a silly argument. I don't work out so that I can win fights. I work out because I want to be the strongest person I can be, and I want to win competitions and break records. It's a very childish notion that people lift weights in order to defend themselves or to be intimidating to others. And if that's an idea that you have, I would suggest maybe you need to talk to some grown-up men. You don't have enough in your life. But hey, we're here for you. Stick around. Lord Farquaad, want to hear a joke? Hell yeah. Oh, and also I also carry a 45 when I leave the house too, buddy. What's your max squat? Right now, I want to say it's about 670, Bowen. You live in the south of France. That's cool. How is it there? I've heard you guys got some issues. Hey, Infinite, there's guns, so let's all stop lifting and turn to Jello, right? Yeah, we should just say screw it. We don't need to work out. We'll just all just walk around shooting each other. Yeah, dude, you think I leave the house without 45? Look, I'm a pretty big dude, and most people won't mess with me because of that. But when somebody starts a fight with me, I just assume he might know some kung fu or something. And I don't want to get hurt. So I carry a 45 to protect myself. But generally speaking, I'm pretty good at like conflict resolution. So 99.9% of the time, I could just talk the guy out of it. And I'm pretty proud of that. How to recover from a fart during sparring. Tell the scam bots you hid the body already and ask them what's next. That's great. That's my sister. What are you training today? Squats and deadlifts. Although if I don't hurry my ass up, I got one more set of squats, and then I'm going to switch to deadlift. So I did a 3x3 at 405 dynamic box squats, and then I'm going to switch to deadlifting. My competition training, the program I'll be using for competition, I start doing that on the 1st of February. Hold on, let me run to the bathroom real quick. The door's blocked. All right, all right. Where did my wrist wraps go? There's a lot of guys that think that if you lift weights, it'll make you a better fighter. And if you're a fighter, getting stronger definitely helps. But if you don't know how to fight, you can be as big as you want. You're still going to get your ass beat. Unless it's in a broom closet. Yeah. I trained bodybuilding for 4 years, and I'm going to start training strongman because you can eat whatever you want. That is right. I like it. 1911. I do have a 1911, but that's not what I carry in the truck. I carry a little subcompact. It's a 45 though. XDS 45. Snakers, Snaker Angler 8. What's your question, brother? Drake official, what is going on? Weird barbell. Yeah, it's a cambered bar. What's nice, it's kind of like a safety squat bar. It puts the weight a little bit forward, so it's more quad dominant. uh, you competing? Yes, March 15th, Phoenix. Big cheese for real. I'm about the buffets and not getting fat. Well, you can look. I'm not on a particularly restricted diet. I just watch my total calories. I eat ice cream. We're going to pizza tonight. Hell yeah. I literally only fight train. Oh, dude, some of the guys I train with, that's all they do is Muay Thai, and they're not particularly big, and they'd whip my ass. Um, that being said, how do I put this? My strength gives me a distinct advantage, especially in things like the clinch. Like when I'm in the ring with a guy my weight, 220, I'm always stronger than him. So when we do tie up in the clinch, I can toss him so easy. And the guy's in for the fight of his life, and I generally tend to kick and punch harder just because I'm stronger. And they say, well, muscles don't have no. You got to be able. Yes, and you teach a guy that's strong how to punch properly, aka Eddie Hall, he's gonna murder you. but but most strong guys, most big dudes in the gym don't know how to hit, and they would get their ass beat by anybody with a little bit of fight training. Hope you can live feed the competition. I'm gonna try to, Kenneth. It's gonna make me kind of boring though. They take a long time. So, like for calorie intake, how much do you consume daily? When I'm training like this, close to 4,000 as I get close to competition. Now I'm like 3,500, 3,000 calories, right around there. Uh, I pick my fights. I'm not an egomaniac era, but we're talking about mutual combat, like in the ring, sports. Boxing, Muay Thai. You're agreeing to fight the guy, not like random dude at the bar. Like that. Now we're talking about felony assault. Like Mark the Malkov, Phoenix. He holds world records. Yeah, last year I was ranked number one for my weight and age in the world for all federations. What's world's strongest Marine? When you give that stuff your title? Well, I'll tell you what, Mark. Find me somebody that's got a higher dot score than me, and we'll talk. And you won't, by the way. That's just asking to get hurt. Calories per day depend on the person, weight, and the goal they're trying to obtain. Yeah, but something to consider proper performance is you already know what your calorie intake is. Most people, without having looked at your food. Think about it. So we're all at an equilibrium. Unless you're gaining 5 pounds a day or losing 5 pounds a day, you're either starving yourself or overeating knowingly. Most of us are eating what we need to maintain the weight we're at, right? Does that make sense? So you already know. You just start writing down everything you're eating for a week, and you can get a good picture of what your caloric intake is and what your food habits are. From there, you can make really simple choices like eliminating mayonnaise from sandwiches or getting rid of soda or, trimming calories. And then you can put yourself in a really easy, nice, slow calorie deficit without having to make drastic changes to your lifestyle. Same thing with gaining weight. Guys that want to bulk, just, add a few hundred calories. You don't need to stuff yourself silly. Love Russia. I can't stand Russia. I love Russians. Russian people are awesome. Your government sucks. Well, if it's just sparring, of course, I'm entrusting that person. Oh, I missed it. Whoa, where'd you go? Are you on TRT? Yes. I'm on a little bit more than that, Dustin, but I would absolutely 100% recommend looking into it, especially if you're 40. And I'll give you my clinic, Helix HRT. You can go online and get started with them right now. If it's just sparring, of course, I'm trusting the person not to hurt me, and there's nothing I really do about someone being bigger and stronger. Well, right now, so when I'm sparring at the gym, everybody's better than me, like all of them. So, I'm like, I'm the world's strongest punching bag. I only recently started training Muay Thai. I gas up quick, and it kicks my ass. Whoa, where did it go? Where did the comment go? God damn it. Oh yeah, it kicks my ass. But hell of a workout. Yeah, so Phoenix, but you'll give it a few weeks and your cardio will catch up. That's one thing I have an advantage on is I have better cardio than most of the guys I train with, even at the age of 50. So I obviously the professional fighters no, but the average person in class, yes. Rip here, happy birthday. Hello, sir. How do you assess your lifts? Do you prefer 5 rep maxes or 1 rep max? I do what's called undulating periodization. So I do training blocks, and some of them are high rep, low weight, and some of them are low rep, high weight. And because I'm a power lifter, I have to max out at least in competition. But generally speaking, I work out in that 2 to 5 rep range. Unless I'm conditioning. Conditioning will sometimes go up to 50. Seriously, like we'll do 50 reps. Uh, Hoorah, Tyler! Hell yeah, Semper Fi, brother. TRT. Well, so testosterone replacement treatment, TRT. Testosterone is a steroid. It's the steroid. Um, but generally, people don't consider TRT to be steroids because you're replacing what your body's missing, doctor prescribed. Anything over TRT, anything over what your doctor prescribed to you is considered a cycle, even if it's a small amount. And I tell guys to be honest with themselves. Even if you're on what's called sports TRT, which is like extra, to be in that super physiological range without being on an amount that's going to hurt you over time, just give you a little boost, that's still a cycle of steroids. Even though it's just a little tiny bit, it's still a cycle. Okay. Cigarettes definitely lower testosterone for 100%, like studied. I feel like if someone kicked me in my frail knees, I'll fall down. Big cheese. I've been there, man. I heard weed does to lower your test. I don't know enough about it. I would think maybe the smoke could. Uh, lack of sleep can, diet can. There's a ton of stuff that can. I get a cousin. He's hardcore training. Training or training? He's huge, but his future don't look huge. If you're talking about trenbolone, which is the most potent steroid you can put yourself on, so you'll lose anything that you didn't have prior to going on steroids. If you had a nice physical base as a natural lifter, you're going to retain that. If you don't, you're going to lose it all. You ever think about competing in kickboxing? Yeah, I want to compete as a 50-year-old. Obviously, it's probably going to need a year or two of training. Um, I don't know how smart that would be, but I do. I want to compete. TRT is like a quarter steroids. Yeah. Oh, nobody's gonna ban you, Era. Let's see. Once you take steroids, I heard your body can't make tests naturally. Yes, big cheese, but think about it. You're already suffering from low testosterone, so that means your body's already not making it to begin with. So what are you going to do? Get off of it and go back to not making it? Right? So you're already not making it. So what's the problem? Send this guy to the brig. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. I got to get into this barbell. I like talking to you guys too much. It kills my workouts. I get to the point where I have to warm up again. I literally try to lift my toes up while squatting, Kenneth. You got to think midfoot of like is your fulcrum, right? Pivot point. The foot's got to be flat. So I would need to see a video of you squatting from the side so I could diagnose your bar path and find out why you're coming up on your heels. But we can fix that, and it's usually placement of the bar on the back and body mechanics. Have you tried jumping deadlifts? I'm sure that's why my knees are jacked up. Holy crap. I've seen guys jump at the barbell with like 35 pounds on each side, but that's got to be high impact on the knees. I imagine it would get your jump numbers up. Yeah, like explode as much as you can off the ground, so jump up. He's warmed up. Yeah, that's the cool thing about squats is you're already warmed up for deadlifts. You can just go right into them. And it makes, for short training blocks, you can use deadlifts as an accessory to squat. So even though I could squat way more than 405 pounds, I don't need to go super heavy because I'm combining the two lifts. And my legs are going to be jacked in the morning. I would say it's a good time saver, but I've been talking to you guys for the last 2 hours. Bob, what's up? My brother Bobby. You are the wind beneath my wings. Hello. Let's see here. Deadlifts are for sale for me some reason. Or deadlifts are safe for me. Why I need glasses? You like my plates, Charles? I polished them all together and just painted them so that they're color coordinated. Dennis Wolf. Where have I heard that before? Better than leg press, though. I've never really experienced much carryover from the leg press. I mean, if you think about it, why is it guys can leg press 1,000 pounds, but they can't squat 315? It's core strength. So the leg sled, while it is great for blowing your quads up, it doesn't really do much for your core. You got to drop the big head cheese. Whoa, where'd it go? Where'd your comment go? Aaron, I saw your. Oh, you got a big. You got to drop the big head tutorial. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Yo Kangoa. Man, my comments, this laptop is screwing me over here. This thing is jumping around. Let's see. Facts, and it's not very athletic. What's not very athletic? Oh, you're talking about the sled? I mean, it's great for building your quads up, though. Sup, white chocolate, you like Korean, man. We hate... Okay, that's a dad joke. I was going to say we had Korean barbecue the other night. And it's delicious. What you eat for pre-workout? Generally speaking, I train fasted, Big Cheese. I don't really eat anything. Coffee. Let's see. Hanzo, he's married. Okay. Forehead bigger than the weight. Mine? Babe, do I have a big forehead? I don't know, I think it looks normal. So Andrew Tate really, 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 really wants me to read a message about somebody, and I don't really care. So thanks for blocking that, guys. Although I don't necessarily want to block anybody, but he's obviously just spamming. Just go to the next, scroll to the next one, Andrew. I'm sure they'll care more than we do. Just coffee, baby. Maybe a cookie or two, maybe. Why Muay Thai? Well, that's an interesting question, Kayat. It kind of checks off all the boxes. So, one, I enjoy boxing, and I did kickboxing back in the day. Fun. So I already enjoy it. Two, if you're ever in a physical altercation, it provides you with boxing skills, grappling skills. What do you want to do if somebody like attacks you? You want to get out of that situation as quickly as possible. It's been my experience based on all the physical altercations that I've gotten in outside of, like in the public. Men have often tried to grab me around the collar, around the head, whatever, some sort of physical manhandling, or they just try to shove you. And Muay Thai, if the guy grabs you like that, he done fucked up. That's the worst thing you can do, because you got the clinch training and you can just own his ass and get out of there. If somebody wants to square up with you, if they want to throw hands, you got that handled. And it's just fun. I love it. It's just a good time. I like the actual sport. I just really enjoy it. I like it better than boxing. Boxing was fun, but I just think Muay Thai is cooler. Let's see. I'm going to have Greek yogurt with orange juice. Oh, I bought some Greek yogurt with strawberry. I forgot to tell you that, Christina. How much do you sell me that knowledge? It's all for free, Abdi. But if you want to throw me a, what do you call that, donation, I'm not going to turn it down. I don't mean to be disrespectful. You want to block me? I don't want to block you. I just don't want you to spam me. I don't really care why Tony's being released from the UFC. No, okay. So when you hit my chat up with all text messages, we just assume you were a bot. That's what it is. So now you're actually talking to me. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, no, that's interesting news. I do like to keep up with the UFC. Tony Ferguson, yeah. We were all caps, so I thought you were a bot. I didn't even think you were a real person. So my bad, brother. Tony's absolutely. But it's about that time for him. I hate to say it. Cool Ranch. Of course I remember you, Cool Ranch. My baby, Christina. How much does that rack like that cost? Bronson Booga. New? You could probably pick up one with the cable machine, which is the reason why I keep it. I love that thing. A half rack, it's got safety spotter arms, so if you dump the weight, it catches it. Uh, and it's at an angle, so you can even use it as a Smith machine, sort of. You can ride the rails on it if you wanted to do like Smith machine type presses. So it's got some interesting benefits. The downsides, it's not a well. I get everything out of it that I would get out of a squat rack, and maybe it doesn't have the total weight capacity that an actual rack would have. So money, how much would a new one cost? I've seen them for full setups with weights as little as $1,200. Um, but Millennial Power Sailor Strong, he's in the chat. He found a rack for sale for under $500. It was a Chinese knockoff. So if you do like some searching on like Alibaba, you can find them pretty cheap. Titan Fitness has one that's going to cost you about $1,000. So I don't know. You're looking around about $1,000 for a brand new one. But if you keep an eye out on like yard sales. I'm always looking at like OfferUp, or like the local trading apps that you have in your neighborhoods, like people that are moving, things of that nature. Sometimes you can get equipment really cheap, and that's how I got most of my equipment, was estate and yard sales. The only thing I really spent money on was barbells. Like if you're a competitive powerlifter, there's a few things you have to have, and one of them's a good deadlift bar. One of them's a good power bar. You gotta have things like straps and bands and shit of that nature, but everything else you could just get used. 12 fight win streak, the longest loss streak in UFC. Yeah, unfortunately. That's some Spider-Man stuff. Antibodies. Let's see. The message was held for review. What's that? My man keeps watching gay porn, but swears he ain't gay because he ain't never had sex with a man. What do you think? Mooney Poonanny. I'm going to say that if he's watching gay porn, he's at least curious. God bless YouTube. You come here for all the answers. Oh, well, I forgot the rule. The Marine Corps rule. It's only gay if your dicks touch. So, green tea, you are so handsome. Thank you. I'm married though. I appreciate it. My wife's in the chat. She's one of my moderators. But I do appreciate it. Have a great one, brother. I got to focus on my homework. Hell yeah, Era. John is beating Aspinall. I have to go with John. He hasn't lost yet. So until he loses, as much as I dislike him, married with children, the Shield, take a rhino pill. Is that what I think it is? What do you think, baby? Should I go get a rhino pill? Kenneth Frazee, low key, those rhino pills work. Yeah, I'll look into it. Treat my baby to some quality loving. You don't need it. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. What do you think about Tim Kennedy? He seems like a tough guy. I don't know much about him. Well, there's a lot of interesting things that came out about Tim Kennedy, essentially stolen valor. And it doesn't make a lot of sense until you really start investigating who the special forces is comprised of, generally speaking. They usually they look for people that are on the spectrum of psychopathy and sociopathy, because a lot of times that doesn't mean they're sociopaths, it doesn't mean they're psychopaths, but they're usually on the scale. Same thing with the CEO of a company. Those people tend to be psychopaths as well. A good example would be who's that guy that passed away that was the CEO of Apple? He was famous. People like that, the guys that dedicate themselves fully to something and are addicted to like work at the expense of their lives and their families, and tend to be slightly psychopathic. So now, and they recruit for that specifically. That's why you could be a total badass, you could be the best football player, you could be a UFC fighter, but you might not be good special forces if you're not a fucking psycho, because most people find it hard to. They're asked do things that would haunt people. The average person would get PTSD from what they're asked to do. What is the point? Why am I saying all that? Chances are Tim's probably got a little of that built into him. And there's like, so for some reason, he needed to embellish the Valor pin that was on his Bronze Star. And he needed to lie about some of the situations that he was in his book. And he got outed as essentially lying about all of it. And you have to wonder, like, here's a guy that's, special forces operative, famous in the world, UFC fighter. He's done so many cool things just by being there. Why would a guy like that need to embellish on his story to make it better than it actually is? I don't know. But it just, you find that a lot. Like the percentage of theft amongst Navy SEALs is off the charts. These guys steal from each other. They do just things that you would wonder, like, why would a person like that ever need to act like that? And it's just baked in. That's just how they are as people, which is why they're so good at doing what they need to do. Those same traits that are off-putting and make them like unacceptable to society makes them like honed, trained killing machines, So it's kind of one of those, like, why would he lie about stupid shit like that? I don't know. But why does anybody lie about dumb stuff like that? He's a narcy. Yeah, possibly. Absolutely. He used to be Tony, but I gotta go for Merib. Steve Jobs, yeah. Thank you. I knew somebody knew what I was talking about. My wife's telling me to lift, so I'm assuming that also means she's hungry. They close at 9. Oh, do we need to leave now? Oh, anyway, belt. Safety first. Two sets, 10 minutes, babe. Well, 12 minutes. Whew. Fake weights. Hey, you know what I say, Austin? The weights might be fake, but the records are real. So they must be working pretty good. Let's see, but in Khabib versus Conor, we found out wrestling is superior. I'm a big Khabib fan. I can't stand Conor. What gear do you take? Right now, I'm still on test in DHB. I'm going to change that here going into competition, though. So unless Pereira doesn't knock Kazmat out, Kazmat might win. Pereira's like special, though. You know what I mean? I really like Pereira, incidentally. 2 sets of 10 minutes. Yeah, roughly. Well, I was going to say 6 minutes, Bob. Get me on the fake weight train, then Jesus Christ. No, I know he's kidding, guys. You leave him alone. He's fine. Yeah, no, you're good, dude. What would I mean? Like, so, like, you've seen guys like, oh, they're not fake, and then they get magnets out and they're trying to prove it and they're showing the weights, and I'm like, I ain't doing all that shit. Fuck that. But you can look my records up. You can just go online to open powerlifting and type my name in, and you can just see what I lifted. So, what kind of poses do you do at your comp? I do that one from Pet Detective where he bends over and his butt sings. No, I'm a powerlifter, not a bodybuilder. I don't do any poses. Oh, well, that's not true. When I get the medals after the competition, I'll usually flex for the camera. You got 315 up natural. Nice. Hell yeah, that's a big boy bench. I think my highest bench is a natural lifter. 355 at the weight of, I want to say I was about 215. But 315s are real. That's 3 plates. That's legitimate, my friend. Have you ever had any hand injuries, wrist or hand problems from bag work? Yeah, Ed. So I had this weird thing, Edie McDodgy, where my fingers went numb. It was like the ulnar nerve got pinched off from not wrapping properly. But then once, and I had to learn some ulnar nerve stretches. You could do one where, a real simple one is you just kind of hold your neck this way and then you flex that way. And then it flosses the ulnar nerve through the elbow. That's one. That's an easy one you can do. But it sucked, man. I couldn't feel my fingers. Remember UFC 1 or 2 with Royce Gracie? Hell yeah. I still watch those. What's his name? Don Fry's my hero. Hopping on any gear before your body's fully done developing isn't a good idea. I 100% agree with that, Ryan. And not having a goal. Like, what are you on gear for? Like, you're just taking it to be bigger? Like, I would say no. Don't do that. You gonna break some records? Hell yeah. I mean, you gotta do what's right for you. Do you have a reason? Do you have a goal? And it's a free country. Anyone can do what they want. And I don't think any more or less of you if you do or do not. I just like to, offer you my support regardless. Because unlike NIH busy, I'm not a sanctimonious, judgmental prick. Let's see, because I've been boxing again and I messed up. What'd you do? My pinky, knuckle, and wrist. It sucks. Did you jam it up or is it just the nerve? My wife had wrist issues. Oh man, she could tell you all about it. She had to wear a brace for how long? About 6 months, maybe? You've been boxing since you were 9. Hell yeah. All right, 6 minutes is up. I gotta hit this one, and I gotta do one heavier, and I gotta do it quick. Because I gotta take my wife and my daughter out to dinner. Has it been 6 minutes? Where is the cute girl? I think she's inside playing Minecraft. Hey, Della. I was gonna tell her to bring our new chicken. We got a Polish hen. last set. All the tea in China. Yeah. Warrior Fitness. No, I'm not natty. But I'm 50 years old. Give a guy a break, will you? Jesus. Flex your abs? You didn't follow. He had a girl last time. Yeah, my daughter usually is out here training with me. What did Ailey say? Where's the cute girl? Oh, I literally called her out. He's just looking out. Anytime anybody talks about my kids, the mods, they see that and they just hone in on it. So it was a mistake. He's just looking out, you know. Sorry. Thank you, Warrior. Calling her cute is borderline. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's Nebo. I can't pronounce your name, but thank you. What's your cycle? Man, here we go. We're gonna have what's it gonna be like every 30 seconds? Someone's gonna pop in and ask me what steroids I'm taking. How were you before and what made you go on? Well, actually, you can see what I was like before. I have videos posted on my YouTube channel up until about the age of 45 where I was 100% natural and I was 220 pounds, same weight, but not as jacked. I was pretty good physique though. I had a 1,500 pound total. I had the national records for tested in the USPA for my age, which I think was 44. And I went on at just before the age of 46 because I had low T. I actually got my blood work done and I was low. So this is about right. 46 years old. And it definitely made a huge difference. I'm very glad I did it for sure. Anyone can use adjectives. It's not. Does it bother you a lot? No, I don't mind talking about it. It bothers me that that's all anyone wants to talk about. It's like, like I could sit here for 5 minutes and explain to you the compounds I take and how long I take them for and what I take for competition, and then you'll leave and then someone else will come in the chat and ask me the same question and it's like, I literally just answered that. You know what I mean? It just gets tiring after a while. You know what I mean? What's your diet? Not whatever I get my hands on. We eat pretty clean. A lot of eggs, a lot of meat. For carbs, I like rice and potatoes. Real simple stuff. I'll fuck some cookies up though. You leave me a box of Oreos and I will mess that up. I'll mess that up. Andrew Tate. Yeah, I do. Especially if you actually suffer low testosterone. A lot of guys my age take it regardless. Hey man, you do you. But it's definitely life-changing for someone who is suffering from low testosterone. Okay, Ailey, like don't argue with my mods, please. Bob is apologizing and he's doing what I asked him to do. So I'm sorry you got put on a timeout, but let's just let it go. Because I did ask my mods to watch out for people make some comments about my kids, you know, they look for that. So it was just a misunderstanding. I'm glad you're here. What's your PR bench? My all-time PR with a slingshot, it was 475, raw 425, and currently I'm right around 400. Dare or double dare? I don't know. I'm gonna go with double dare. Why are you lying about my natty status? Let's see. I'm natty, so it's very intriguing, but sorry to know it could become repetitive with the comments. Yeah, I mean, that's all anybody wants to talk about. MLK. Milk does the body good with cookies. Damn right. Eggnog. Who made a comment about our daughter had to leave for a moment. No, so Ailey was just asking where the cute girl was. And this is asking where she was at. And I tried to call her out. I didn't know if she was watching the stream in the bedroom with you. I was going to tell her to bring the Polish hen out. Someone wondered. Yeah, sorry. It's all good, guys. It is all good. And she is cute. She's adorable. Warrior Fitness. I have heart problems in my family, so I can't, or else I would. So this is what I tell people. I am not a doctor. I'm a freaking retard that lifts weights in his garage. So research, talk to a doctor, get your medical advice from a healthcare professional. I can tell you what works for me. I can tell you what I do, but at the end of the day, I'm a moron. Like, I don't want anybody like, oh, Charlie said, oh, you know, next thing you know, you're having an aneurysm. It's like, the fighting practice was cool. Oh, did you watch that video? Yeah, she's great, isn't she? It's so much fun. It's just like just the thing I love to do more than anything else in the world is just training with my kids. It's just a good time. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get both of them together because her brother is a teenager now and he wants to do his own thing. How to maintain a good body. Well, apparently you can be an alcoholic and a drug addict for 20 years of your life, and then.
She's in the back.
There's a sauna. All right, I got one more set to do, and we're out of here.
Good, I'm getting hungry.
This is our new Polish hand. What's her name again?
Zanda.
Zanda. Check this.
Polish for God. So, it's Polish for something.
It's okay, sweetheart. That's Khabib Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov.
Come on, sweetie.
She is a sweetheart. Is that a chicken? Yes. We have a lot of eggs. We eat a lot of eggs in this house. Monk from inside, samurai from outside. Diet does definitely make your body good. You saw the new hens napping? That's cool. Is Beach or Viv your favorite boxer? No, I want to say Lomachenko is, or Usyk, to be honest with you. They both train together. If you watch the way they master footwork, it's a thing of beauty. I'm 6'2", 205, 15%. Being on cycle, I bet I get 245 easily. Yeah, so I maintain a weight class. So that's all calories in, calories out. You can take all the gear in the world you want, but if you don't eat, you're not going to get bigger. You can't create matter from nothing. But that being said, if I wanted to just start piling food away and training like I do, I could get up to 280 probably. I've never seen a grown man struggle with a closet door so bad. Yeah, man, you gotta tell your mom to get those fixed. Jesus. A little bit of WD-40, brother. That's Justin Guerrero. Cat Johnson, good looking hen. Yeah. All right, one more set. Can he do it? We have 600 on the bar there. Maybe it's 595. I'll have to count it up. Right around there. Pizza dinner. Pizza dinner. How many meals a day do you have? normally I do 18 hours of fasting, so I don't know. I just snack. I just eat small amounts of food, but like for 6 hours. Yeah, baby. Oh yeah, jasmine rice. Trump or Biden? All right, you're asking to be blocked. Yeah. Honestly, would it matter? All right. Shit. Uh-oh. Oh. Damn it, I could have had that. My grip slipped. Yeah, 600 for two. I'll take it. I fucked my hand up. 600 kilograms, no, pounds. How did you start lifting? Low self-esteem. No, I was always in shape. When I first started dating Christina, my wife, she told me I wouldn't be as strong as one of her ex-boyfriends. So I told her, I'm going to get so strong, you'll never be able to say that with a straight face. And I did. I swung that pendulum, broke that bitch off, and sent it down the street. But somewhere along the line, I fell in love with powerlifting. I met some powerlifters. They got me into the sport, and I just love it. It's such an awesome group of people. I don't have the will to be consistent. Private ass man. So here's the thing, man. Do things you enjoy. Go to the gym and do things you like to do. And focus more on going to the gym over working out. Just get in the consistency of going. And once you build that habit, from there, you can only go up. You get that consistency to where it's just like, it takes 90 days, 3 times a week, 90 days. And then you'll want to go. You'll feel wrong if you don't go. When I was younger, I was bullied mercilessly. I was a geek. I was a dork. I had a big mouth, though. I had this, my mantra was, you can beat my ass, but you'll never shut me up. You could take away everything from me except for my ability to speak. You have to kill me for that. Have you done HGH? No, I have not. And I think HGH, especially for older guys, can be really awesome. I can't afford the protocol. It's super expensive. Powerlifter community really is awesome. Yeah. Dude, they just love, anybody like-minded. They don't care what you can lift. I've never had anybody say, oh, I could bench more than you. Yeah. You weigh 400 pounds. I hope you can. There's people are fucking cool. And people that are at the top of the sport are so helpful to those that are coming on board. It's not like the YouTube comment section where everybody disparages each other and talks mad shit. Like, they're really super welcoming. It's almost like a cult-like, to be honest with you. Test and DBH. DBH. But I'm still a dork, Profit Fear. All that dorking paid off. Yeah, you got to have a resentment, man. You got to have those self-esteem issues. You got to really hate what you're looking at in the mirror a little bit. Once you start liking yourself too much, it's over with. You're done. Do you have back pain when you started deadlifts? No, I had back pain before I started deadlifts. I had a major back injury going into the lifting. Lifting fixed most of my problems. Now, I have hurt myself lifting, but most of the injuries that I had were corrected by lifting. So, as long as you lift smart and you listen to guys like Prophet Fear and Bobby in the chat, people that are smarter than me, you won't hurt yourself. It is possible to lift safely. It's possible to lift your entire life without injuring yourself. It is absolutely possible. That being said, probably not going to happen if you lift like me. And you know what? I love it. I'm not going to stop. Well, it's not, I mean, I got to stop sometime, I guess. Freedom of speech. Hell yeah. Absolutely. You die to protect it. Ask them why they do suck so much now. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Why is that? Why are you still doing the same thing you were doing 3 years ago? Why are you doing worse than you were 3 years ago? I know who you're talking about specifically. Of course, you can also be the bigger man too. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we outgrow that, right? You get to a certain point, it's like, I understand what motivated me to get to where I am now, but I also know that, like, I've made peace with all that shit from my childhood. Now we laugh about it, you know. It's I am a dork. I am not going to change. I like video games. I like Warhammer figurines. I like Dungeons and Dragons. I like collecting comic books. I like collecting action figures. I like Transformers. I don't care. I don't give a shit if you don't like it. Fight me. uh, Too much muscle to be efficient in any combat aspect. Well, Bora, come to Vegas and look me up. We'll get in the ring and we'll go a few rounds. All right, guys. I'm gonna hit the bag tomorrow, Matthew. I'll do some bag work for you guys, but I got to get my wife to dinner, or else she's gonna kill me. Kat, my sister. Hell yeah, guys. I'm gonna take my family to dinner. I love you guys. I will see you on the battlefield.